Hi, Steve Backlund here from Igniting Hope Ministries. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. The title of the day's message is Delete It. I look forward to getting into today's topic. Just a couple things I want to mention. First, our Igniting Marriage Seminar / conference, whatever we want to call it, is happening. It's going to be released on February 10th and 11th. And it's powerful content. Wendy and I will be sharing. Peter and Melinda Lahai will be sharing. Great team members of ours this year have got a powerful testimony on marriage, plus others. And it's going to be so good. Go to ignitinghopeacademy.com. You can participate with us if you can those 2 days, February 10th and 11th, 2 full days. Or if you can't watch all of it or you can't watch it at all on those days, you can purchase it, and you'll have a whole year to get some great marriage insights. Whether you got a great marriage, struggling marriage, you're not married, divorced, we are trying to minister to everybody we possibly can. If you can't afford it, let us know. info@ignitinghope.com. Tell us what you can do, and we'd love for you to be a part. And second thing I want to get into before the message, delete it, which I believe is going to be a powerful message, is I preached this last Sunday night, January 15th, 2023 at Bethel Church. I preached a message on my new book, Fully Convinced, The Art of Decision Making. And what a great time we had. And I believe that message will be available on YouTube for a little while. And so if you want to watch that, I am really thrilled with what I shared. And in just the whole area of decision making, I believe it's just such a crucial key area of our lives. And, you know, great leaders, victorious people have a good process of decision making. But what's really important is that we learn to attach faith to our decisions. Romans 14:23 says, whatever is not of faith is sin. And sin is an archery term which means miss the mark. Whatever's not of faith, whatever we don't attach faith to, we miss the mark in our lives. And in my book, Fully Convinced, The Art of Decision Making, I go into depth on that and talk about the different areas to be fully convinced in our identity, in being loved by God, in our decision making. We talk about a great process of how to make healthy decisions. I share a bad decision made in faith has a greater likelihood of success than a good decision made in doubt. I unpack that and say what we're not saying with that as well. But it's so important. And I believe this, that double-mindedness, doubt, insecurity, indecision, doing things out of duty and obligation, feeling trapped, and all of that, that's going away in 2023 so that we can attach faith and be fully convinced and increase in being fully convinced in who we are and what we're doing. And I say this in the message, I say cheerfulness is a main evidence that we've attached faith to our identity, to our responsibilities, to our assignments, to our commitments. And a lack of cheerfulness is always because we haven't attached faith to those areas. So check it out. If you'd like to get the book, Fully Convinced, it's at Amazon. And if you want to go deeper, we have a course on our ignitinghopeacademy.com platform, Fully Convinced. It's an 8-week course that goes along with the book. Really thrilled about that. But hey, let's get into the message today. Delete it. Delete it. Years ago, I was in a season of heavy food fasts, and I felt like the Lord said, Steve, your food fasts aren't doing much good. I heard, Steve, I love your heart to separate yourself unto me, but the positive of your food fast plus the negative of your general overall negativity and pessimism equals a big zero. I've got a suggestion for you. Why don't you go on a 40-day negativity fast. And that started, we've done it for years now, where we, Igniting Hope Ministries, has during Lent, and it's going to start this year in mid-February, 40 days before Resurrection Sunday or Good Friday for Lent. And, Lent is a time where people stop doing certain things and fast things. And I said, well, let's fast negativity and let's feast on positivity. And many of you who are listening have done it, and we're going to do it again. If you feel called to do it, you can go to ignitinghopeacademy.com, find out information on it, to do it as a group. We got 3 levels of it. But this whole thought about 40 days, because it's not what we're really doing, and certainly what we're doing is important. That's the problem. It's what we're believing. I mean, we can fast all day, all week, 40 days, but if we don't ultimately allow our beliefs to be changed, the fasting will have an effect on our lives, but believing lies will limit our lives. And so certainly we do food fasts, media fasts, whatever. But I believe this negativity fast, positivity feast concept is so important. And what I like about it is that whether it's these 40 days that we're doing it on, or you have your own negativity fast, it's a concentrated time to say, I'm not going to believe certain things. I'm going to delete it. And, with our computers, and, I've got on my computer right here, if you're watching my podcast on YouTube right now. And by the way, if you're a regular podcast listener and you want to watch me do the podcast, you can go to our Igniting Hope YouTube channel and watch me deliver the podcast. I've got a shirt today that says Joyologist from my good friends at Victory Church there in Houston. And if we're just fasting food, but not fasting beliefs, got a problem. And I say on my computer, I got this delete button. I like the delete button. Used to be, we'd have to erase things with an eraser. I remember years ago, some of you who are a little bit older, you'll remember whiteout. We'd make a mistake on our typewriter. We'd have this liquid substance called whiteout. We'd put it over the mistake, let it dry, and retype it. But we have the delete button. And I am so glad that we have a spiritual delete button. It says in 2 Corinthians 10:5, it says, taking every thought captive to the obedience of Christ. And what I love about the Bible, and I love about commands like that, wow, that on the surface seems impossible, but God will never ask us to do something that he doesn't empower us to do. And one of the things that I love to do when I listen to the Bible, read the Bible, is make identity statements from the word, or action statements. I like to start with identity because we can't consistently do it. We don't believe we are. And so believing that we are what is commanded. So I am a person who takes every thought captive to the obedience of Christ. It's easy for me to take every thought captive. So as we read scripture and we declare and we come into agreement and then we create identity statements out of it, faith comes by hearing and we start believing it, and then grace is released to us to do it. I mean, you can take verse 4 of 2 Corinthians 10, verse 4 and 5. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they're mighty in God. I am a person who has supernatural weapons, spiritual weapons given to me by God. These weapons are powerful. I activate them regularly. And it says, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they're mighty in God to the pulling down of strongholds. I pull down strongholds. I am one who easily pulls down strongholds in my life. I help many others pull down strongholds. We demolish arguments and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God. I am a demolisher of arguments in my own thinking. I demolish high things that are trying to exalt themselves against the knowledge of God. I've got a great ability to do that. And so just even in your own Bible reading, and as I talk about what I'm going to say about delete it, then I believe one of the greatest ways to delete things is to fill our minds up with the positive, to fill our minds up with truth, and the lie can't even get in. But if you're like me, you're not fully there yet. You're not fully there yet. And so you need to pull out the heavenly delete button. And this is what's so fun about when you have a concentrated time, whether it's 40 days, whether it's a week, whether it's going to be a day, when you say, okay, I am going to intentionally take inventory of my thoughts. I'm going to take inventory of my emotions, because my emotions almost always result from what I'm thinking. You know, Wendy, she teaches in her book, Victorious Emotions, if you want a different emotion, you need a different belief. Emotions don't validate truth. They just validate what you believe is true. And so when we have resistance, even emotionally, then we get to push against that emotional resistance, whether it's disappointment, victim mindset, pessimism, discouragement, shame, unworthiness, fear, worry, inferiority. Those emotions are almost always caused by lies. And once we recognize that and we fight off the lies, we take every thought captive, and then we fight it with truth. That's why I love declarations. Because when we declare truth, you can't believe a lie while you're speaking the truth. And all that to say is it's fun to just say, all right, I'm going for it. And we walk into a room and we feel less than, and maybe the thought comes upon, I'm not important. Delete. I delete it. This is not going to be a good meeting. Delete. You're worrying about maybe where money's going to come from. Your needs are not going to delete. I'm not going to know what to do. Delete. All of these thoughts, we demolish arguments and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, taking every thought captive to the obedience of Christ. And in all of these thoughts, when we get aggressive, when we take up the shield of faith, it says in Ephesians 6:16, take up the shield of faith wherewith you can quench all the fiery darts of the wicked one. And again, those fiery darts are lies. The devil is the father of all lies, and he's constantly lying to us, constantly lying about our identity, constantly lying about our future, constantly lying about God and about God's faithfulness. So we just delete. It's things are only going to get delete. Things are getting worse than you for delete. Things are, your prayers for your nation don't seem to be working. Delete. Any belief, any conclusion that doesn't have hope attached to it's under the influence of a lie. So you say, hey, what do I need to delete? Any belief system that's creating a lack of hope needs to be deleted. And let me just say this. I'm not saying you just deny there's problems. I'm not saying that you never get help, you never get prayer, you never get counseling, but I'm saying for some of you, this is a great experiment to do. Others of you, this is just going to add to what the Lord's already been saying in your life, and you're just going to turn it up a notch and delete it. But for some of you, this is going to be like an experimentation. Put maybe a reminder on your phone to just inwardly, maybe even outwardly say, I delete that, I delete that. I remember when I got the revelation that every area of my life that doesn't glisten with hope means I'm believing a lie, and that area is a stronghold of the devil in my life. And then I prayed a dumb prayer, Lord, show me every lie I'm believing. And I got the revelation as a pastor, almost everything I believed in my life was a lie. And I found myself just shaking my head just because I said, I'm not going to think any thought that doesn't have hope attached to it. And I'd just be shaking my head. I'd see somebody have a non-hopeful thought, delete. I don't think I used delete because we didn't have delete back then, but I would have used delete if I knew about it. But that's what I was doing. Delete that. I'd think about my finances and that hopeless, delete. I'd see, again, few people that were in the church, and my thought was, this meeting is not going to be, delete. Things are not moving forward, delete. I think you get it. I think you get it. Go to ignitinghopeacademy.com if you want to be a part of our annual Negativity Fast Positivity Feast starting in mid-February. We got 3 levels of that. Hey, I bless you with the heavenly delete button. Hey, if you like these podcasts, why don't you tell somebody else about it, about them? We've got many, many podcasts. If you're new to us, you can go to ignitinghope.com, ignitinghope.com, and just check out our website. Love for you to sign up for our newsletter. And because every Monday I send out a new blog, new podcast comes out. Every Thursday, we're sending out updates on what we're doing, courses, free opportunities for you. Yeah. We'd love for you to be a part of our family. In our newsletter on Monday, we say where we're traveling. I'm going to be in, Wendy and I are going to be in Powell, Ohio coming up. I'll be in Howard, Ohio. I'll be in Greensboro, North Carolina, Casper, Wyoming, Atlanta, Georgia, Fremont, California in the next few months. Other places too. You can find out that on our website. Hey, we're here. Steve Backlund here from Igniting Hope Ministries. We are here to ignite your hope. There's no hopeless circumstances. There's just people who do not have hope. And once people get true hope, circumstances cannot stay the same. A perspective of hope is the evidence we're renewing our mind with truth instead of lies. A perspective that lacks hope is the evidence we're renewing our mind with lies instead of truth. And there's no condemnation if we don't have hope in areas, but if we don't know what our problem is, we have a real problem. Our hope level determines our influence level, and he who has the most hope is the most influence. And remember, too, the joy of the Lord is your strength. We don't need strength at the end of the battle. We need strength in the middle of the battle. For pretty much everybody listening or watching, today is just not a good day to walk in radical joy. Joy in a more convenient season, I will call for you. I've noticed this. There's hardly ever a convenient time to walk in radical joy. There's always something. some disappointments, something that didn't work out the way I thought it would, relational issues, challenges with bad news, with what I've heard with people, media. And I'm not saying be insensitive to people, but I know this. I need strength. I need longevity. A merry heart is good like medicine. And so there has to become a time where we activate the joy of the Lord and a merry heart. And I believe it's now for you. And we can do that through increased thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, we enter his gates with thanksgiving. It says in Psalm 100. And thanksgiving is a gate into joy. It's a gate into many things. And we do it also by delighting ourselves in the Lord. Psalm 37, verse 4, delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. And the context of that verse is that the delighter is delighting with unfulfilled desires, with disappointments, with outcomes that he or she wants to see happen that haven't happened yet. And delighting is one of the main signs of soul prosperity, which increases the likelihood dramatically of that desire being fulfilled. Wow, wow, wow. Hey, thank you so much. We also want to mention you can find us on Igniting Hope Instagram, Igniting Hope Facebook. We're increasing our LinkedIn happenings as well. And just one last thing, and I've been doing this for some time. I've been asking you, the listener, to invest 5 seconds of prayer for Igniting Hope Ministries. And I've been doing it to model the importance of attaching faith. It's attaching faith to 5 seconds of prayer is more powerful than begging without faith for 30 minutes on something. And we get a lot, you and I, we get a lot of things hearing because of media. We hear national, international things. We hear family things, people we care about, concerns. And I know there's times where we need to pray, and we will pray for an extended period of time. But a lot of those things, the Lord is training us to value the power of 5 seconds of prayer. So why don't you pray that right now? You can pray for those who are going to be doing our Igniting Hope, Igniting Marriages seminar coming up, our Negativity Fast, Positivity Feast. Maybe pray for those who are reading the book Fully Convinced. Or pray for our staff, or just pray for Wendy and I. We feel it. We thank you so much. Why don't you take 5 seconds right now of faith-filled prayer for Igniting Hope. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow, just what a blessing. We appreciate so much. I say amen to that again. We feel it. We realize that we're in a great season of increase, of blessing. We believe this message of hope, victorious mindsets, declarations, joy, empowerment, and leadership. Wendy's the Academy of the Unseen Realm, and that whole message of living from the unseen that's happening. We believe this message is crucial in this hour, and we thank you. And we thank you for those who have supported us financially, and we bless you in that. It means so much to us. If you want to donate to Igniting Hope Ministries, you can go to our website, ignitinghope.com. Ignitinghope.com, and you'll find the donate button there. We appreciate it. Even if you can't sow into us, that's fine. And we thank you so much for your support, your encouragement to us. Hey, Steve Backlund here. Looking forward to being with you again on another podcast from Igniting Hope Ministry.